In this video, we'll take a closer look at why toxic relationships are so addictive and what you need to do and what you need to understand in order to break free from one. One of the big reasons why a toxic relationship is so addictive is the intermittent reinforcement. And what do I mean by that? Intermittent reinforcement is the unpredictability in terms of when you're going to get the good love and when you're going to get the bad love or the lack of love. You never know when it's going to be good and you never know when it's going to be bad. It probably started out with a love bombing stage where you were feeling great and everything was amazing. And while this relationship slowly progresses to be worse and worse and worse, you have this memory of the love bombing stage where everything was so good. But now the good times are maybe few and far between, and it's mostly the bad stuff that you're experiencing. But just the fact that it's so out of your control when you'll hit the jackpot, you're constantly craving it and you're constantly going back for more. It's the same reason why people can get addicted to gambling. It's because when you win, it feels so good. Even though you lose 9 out of 10 times, that one time where you win just makes you feel so high that you keep coming back for more. And it's almost like the more you lose, the more you'll fight and work harder and harder and harder to get to the good place, to get that good love. On top of this, our brains produce chemicals such as oxytocin, dopamine, and adrenaline when you go through these emotional highs and lows. So your brain and your body is used to this huge amount of neurochemicals flooding your bloodstream. It's a very addictive mix, and eventually your brain and your body will be craving these emotional highs and lows because it feels so good when you're high. If you're in a toxic relationship, I'm sure you will agree with me when I say that the lows are probably lower than you've ever experienced before, but the highs are also higher than you've ever experienced before. Just the same as if you had some kind of even like a drug addiction. You know, you'll feel so high while you're on the drug, but then the day after you'll feel hungover like never before. And just the same way as an addict would fear the withdrawal symptoms, you fear the withdrawal symptoms, both on a physical level, but also on an emotional level, because you're very addicted to this person. You're very, very entangled in this relationship. If you're in a relationship like this, it's called a trauma bond, and I made a video about it. I'll link to it up here. You fear the loneliness, you fear that you can't live without this person. Maybe your self-esteem has also been tampered with so much that you don't feel that you deserve more or better than what you're getting in this relationship. You feel like you can't stand on your own. In relationships like this, there's often a huge amount of control involved as well. So maybe you don't even have your own bank account. Maybe the other person is controlling the finances and you don't know how you would even practically go about leaving. That's a whole other issue. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's just for the emotional reasons that it's very, very difficult to leave a toxic relationship. And it's very rare that a person leaves and stays away the first time they decide to get away from a toxic relationship. It'll usually take a couple of times of on again, off again, until they finally have had enough and end up leaving for good. But it does happen. And if you're in a relationship like this, you can do that too. But you have to treat it like an addiction. If you were addicted to a substance, let's say you were addicted to alcohol and you decided to quit, would you go to the bar every Friday and drink just a couple of drinks? No, you wouldn't. It would be a complete setback. And you should treat this relationship the exact same way. If you decide to leave this person, then you can't just speak with them once a week. You need to go cold turkey, no contact, if possible. I know sometimes people have kids with someone that they've been in a toxic relationship with. In these cases, it's not possible to go no contact, but you can go minimal contact with a lot of strong boundaries. That's what you'll have to do. That's the next best thing. The best thing is to go absolute no contact. If you are in a toxic relationship right now, it's worth it for you to investigate if there are some familiar patterns for you that makes you feel safe and comfortable and loved in a dynamic like this. Did you grow up in a home that was very tumultuous? Did you feel abandoned when you were young? Do you have an abandonment wound? Do you have an insecure attachment style? I've made a bunch of videos about the insecure attachment styles. I would want to link to them up here, but there are so many, I don't know which one to pick. So just go to my page and there's a whole playlist with the anxious, fearful, avoidant, and avoidant attachment styles explained. Investigate within yourself, why are you someone who ended up in this dynamic and why have you stayed for this long? I'm not saying it's your fault. You probably got lured into this type of relationship with a lot of flattery and love bombing and good times, but then suddenly things turn sour and now you're in this trauma bond. I hope this video was helpful, shedding some light on why these toxic relationships are so addictive. If you liked my video, please like it and subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.